JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 13th of December 2022. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a view of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFDbrokers.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. So guys, I do apologize for the kind of late start a little bit, and having some technical issues. I can see that, yeah, so but yeah, okay, hopefully that's sorted for now. But okay, listen, let's start off with some indices here. Nikkei 225, as always. We had a good push here to the upside. We had a move, yeah, we move higher, of course, kind of a follow-up from the US trading session yesterday, but as we can see, we drifted back down a little. I mean, we kind of wiped some of those gains, initial gains. Nevertheless, we remained above that 21-day EMA, so that's good news. I talked about this yesterday. I said that if we do push and stay above this 21-day EMA, I'll aim for this 28,500 territory or near this downside line taken from the high of the 14th of September. Now, in terms of the downside, I am looking at least something like this, that, let's say, initially a drop below all of the EMAs and a drop below the 27,415 territory might do the trick for a few more sellers here, but if we struggle with that, I mean, I'll remain more positive if we continue to trade above the 21-day EMA. So look, I mean, this is a little bit of I don't like these. I mean, this is a bit of a problematic one for me, but hey, trying to squeeze something out of this one. But long story short, if we do fall below this hurdle here, the 27,415, I'll go lower because the forthcoming lower low would be confirmed. Now, Shanghai Composite, guys, this one kind of is in negative territory for now. I mean, we're still trading here. We still have around like 50 minutes left of trading. So in a way, everything is according to the plan, because the plan was that as long as we stay below the 200-day EMA, I'll go lower for a kind of a larger correction here to the downside towards the 3,170, 3,145 levels right here. So yeah. At the moment I am watching this, and look, I mean, yesterday, if you remember, I talked about this little hurdle, this 3,170, because I said that, hey, maybe, we could see a drift lower here, a test of this area, and then a rebound. Well, somehow for now this area is providing good support, so be careful of it. If we struggle to overcome it, then yes, ignore the larger correction. If we fall below this hurdle, I'll go lower. But if we struggle to do so, this will keep me a little bit on the neutral side. But if we pop and stay above the 200-day EMA here, then that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more buyers. Now, ASX 200. Now this one is it remained in positive territory. So far, look, the idea was that if we break this upside line, we could go lower. Well, we are currently on the lower side, I would say, but I need a stronger move here below this 21-day EMA, because as you can see here, it's the index is kind of oscillating around that 21-day EMA, so that's not really something that's very, interesting, attractive, or the only thing is what's probably interesting and attractive if we jump into a 4-hour chart, maybe this little consolidation here could be seen as a little pause before, a further decline. So so yeah, you can see that also on the daily chart. We're kind of stuck here, so we're not really doing much. So yeah, look, after breaking this upside line, we moved lower. That's fine. That's already part of the deal. Then we started stalling near the 21-day EMA. We started oscillating around it. Okay, that's also fine. Maybe the bears are taking a pause now. And now in order to go lower, I think that the one of the levels that you could keep an eye on is this 7,147. A nice good drop below it may attract, more sellers into the game here, and we could start aiming lower, maybe even towards that 200-day EMA. This is my ideal scenario. For the upside, I will ignore this upside line because, I mean, previously I would normally look at it, let's say, a push higher, maybe we could test it, but I think we already moved a lot to the right here, so maybe we can ignore this upside line eventually, but in order for me to consider maybe or get a little bit more comfortable with some higher levels, then 7,269 territory could be an interesting one to watch. And then we would aim for the 7,350 territory, approximately around here, and then so on and so on. So yeah, but at the moment I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside, but a confirmation break is still needed. Nasdaq 100. So yeah, yesterday the US indices performed quite well, I would say. Showed some good gains, and Nasdaq was not the best performer, of course, but still okay, still good results. However, look, I talked about this already, and I think I'm going to be talking about the same idea over and over, at least for this week, I think. Because it seems like we are forming something of a broadening triangle pattern here. We rebounded from the lower side of it, and now we're kind of trying to push higher, but I would prefer to actually wait for a push above the 100-day EMA right here in order to go higher. So long story short, if you are looking for some higher levels, then certainly wait for at least a push above that 100-day EMA, just for that, extra confirmation. For the downside, it's a tricky one. I mean, I am keeping an eye on the lower side of this triangle, broadening triangle, but this 11,500 territory is something to keep an eye on, because if we do fall below it, then we could slowly start aiming a little bit lower here. S&P 500. So rebounding, and look, yesterday, if you remember, I talked about this potential idea of maybe seeing here something like a complex head and shoulders pattern. Well, I mean, like I said, we still have nothing close to that, of course, but eventually maybe. So we're kind of trying to see the future here, basically. But look, so far, I mean, part of that deal is working, because we are seeing a push away from the so-called neckline, this 3,912 territory, approximately around here. If you wanna go higher, guys, I think that the better option is to at least wait for a push above that 200-day EMA, above that 4,029 territory right here, and then we could go a little bit more north. Now, in terms of, let me just put this one on the chart here. I'll shorten up a little. Now, in terms of the downside, of course, like I said, if this is going to end up being like a complex head and shoulders pattern, then certainly we will be waiting for a break of the neckline. The German index, DAX. Look, it's not really doing much, and I don't really like to play around with with instruments like that. So at the moment I'm watching, yes, I mean I think that my idea eventually might not work here. However, I'm still not giving up on it. So because again, I'm not seeing any clear moves to the upside. Oh, and the idea is basically for a retracement here towards that 23.6% on the Fibonacci near the 13,950 territory, approximately around here, which is near the highest point of August. So a very fantastic level here, I would say. However, for in order to aim for that, we need to see a break below the 21-day EMA and below that 14,200 territory, somewhere around here. If we get that, then yes, I'll go lower. At the moment, the cash index is sitting at around 14,350, so above yesterday's close. And I think this level has to go, but let me just see if it's here. Yeah, it's below this hurdle still, so this is the high of Friday, so we are still below it. So if we do move above it, then great, I will go a little bit more to the upside. DXY, the dollar index. Now this one's also flat, and look, again, I forgot to mention about when I was talking about the US indices. Today we do get some data, by the way, which could drive the market a little, especially the US one. So look, we do have the US CPI numbers coming out, the core and the headline inflation numbers. Yep, so that will be quite interesting. So check out the economic calendar for your time when it's going to come out. Yeah, it could be a nice and interesting move. So this is where I'm waiting right now to see what's going to happen. I'm not trying to do too many predictions, but look, on DXY, for example, if we want to go lower, a drop below the 104.11 is needed. For the upside, a push above this downside line and a push above the 21-day EMA is required as well. Now jumping into gold. Gold is it did drop yesterday below that 1786, so that could be quite an indication for me here that maybe we're willing to go a little bit lower. Look, I will stick to this game plan as long as we stay below the 1786 territory. So far, what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing a hold up, a nice hold up below the or actually near this 1786 territory. The question here is, can we see a decline? Well, look, let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait and see, because at the moment I want to watch this. I want to see how it's going to play out. But if it's struggling to move further above this hurdle, maybe a bit of a move back down here could be possible. And especially keep your eyes on the inflation numbers today. So let's say if suddenly DXY pops higher, well, I mean, we could see, gold drifting nicely to the downside. WTI oil, there we go, rebound, a rebound and a push back above the 73.62 territory. So, look, if you're looking for some further downside, I mean, you wouldn't be wrong here to say that there is still an opportunity for some downside, because we're still below this downside line taken from the high of the 7th of November. So any kind of move back up could be seen as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. Now, of course, we need to be very careful. This is oil we're talking about, and sometimes, it is a bit on a roller coaster sometimes. So, look, I will stick to the downside if we fall below the 70.10 territory right here, or in general below that psychological 70 mark. If we do that, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yep, more sellers could join in. Now, for the upside, pretty straightforward. At least a break of this downside line is required. ETC USD, guys. I don't look at this one very often, but to be honest, it's becoming one of my favorite ones, and you can see why. It's quite technical, and looking at this picture right now, we're near this 18 territory right here, so it's currently providing good support. Can we see a rebound? Well, I wish, but again, at the moment, the crypto world is not the best place to be in. However, if you think that maybe it's time to slowly buy, then and just keep it, maybe eventually it will pop, then yes, sure, that could be a good opportunity. if you believe in it, of course, it's all about belief, you know, guys. If you do strongly believe in it, so great. I mean, you can utilize that, but again, if you're, you know, a short-term trader, then if you're looking for some, you know, some sort of a gain here, maybe on the crypto, look, it is a difficult one, and if we do rebound from this 18 zone, great. I will go higher, especially if we also pop above the 21-day EMA, which recently has been acting as a very good area of resistance. So if we break that, this could open the door towards the 100-day EMA or even the 200-day EMA. But if we drop and stay below this 18 zone, well, we already are dropping below that 18 zone. If we stay below it, then yes, my next target is the area somewhere near that 13 mark. Now, AUD USD, jumping into a few pairs very quickly. Okay, AUD USD. Look, today we got some data from Australia, NAB Business Confidence, and NAB Business Survey, NAB National Australian Bank. Look, the numbers didn't, you know, show up very, very good. So we had a bit of a kind of a decline. I mean, I can see here, but here you're seeing a bit of a rebound. We saw the negativity kind of spilling maybe a little bit into the ASX 200 here, but AUD USD still kind of holding on here. And look, I mean, I've drawn this upside line before, and somehow it's doing its job. It's providing that support. So hey, maybe this could end up being a nice positive thing here for some traders, for some bulls. But as I said before, I would prefer to see a push above this 0.6798, or in a way we could round it up just for the 98 zone. If we do push through it, then yep, I will go a little bit higher, but I have this obstacle here, the 200 EMA, which, as you can see here at the beginning of December, did provide strong resistance. But if we clear that one, that would be even better, and we could go further north. For the downside, I need to see not only a break of this upside line, but also a drop below these remaining two EMAs, the 21 and the 100-day EMA, and then we could take it from there. Now then, AUD JPY, guys. AUD JPY. This one is, look, breaking the downside line. Okay, that's a good positive thing here for the bulls. However, can they maintain their dominance here? I would say this is a difficult one. I mean, we always get these little breakouts, but then, you know, at the end of the day, it kind of reverses and, you know, moves back down. So look, it's all nice and dandy, I would say. Yeah, everything's looking quite positive, but can they stay here? Can they stay above, you know, above that downside line? And also, if you look at this here, you know, ignoring all the lines, you can, if you look at the EMAs, I mean, we still would have to overcome this 100-day EMA, which kind of does sometimes do a good job and provides a good area of resistance. So if we clear that one as well, great. That's where I'm gonna get, you know, more comfortable with further upside. At the moment, the first step is working for the upside. We're breaking this downside line taken from the high of the 13th of September. If we can stay above it now, then I'll start looking at the next steps. NZD-CHF. So this one I looked at previously, and look, I mean, previously I talked about this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 14th of November. Also, I talked about the 200-day EMA, which we violated, but we drifted straight away, you know, back down below it. So this is one of those moments where, you know, the rule of, let's say, when we break a certain level, and let's say we stay above that certain level, then keep your eyes on the next day. If we continue to trade above that area, then, well, this could open the door towards some higher levels. And at this point, look, we have these kind of breaks here, but we're struggling to remain above that 200-day EMA. If we eventually do that again, yes, I will go further. I will go further north. For the downside, ideally, I would like to see a drop below this area. This area here is roughly between the, well, actually it's around 0.59 zone. So if we drop below it, then yes, I will go a little bit lower. Now, gold. USD CAD, guys. USD CAD, still watching, still keeping an eye on this one. And yeah, if you're looking for some higher levels, then certainly a push above this 1.3685 territory is required. For the downside, a break of this upside line would be needed. So long story short, guys, if you're looking for some higher levels, yes, wait. Are you looking for some lower levels? Yes, wait. So that's kind of the game plan. Unfortunately, well, I mean, it is how it is, and we need to kind of play along with it. USD CHF, this one is one of my favorite runs right now that I'm monitoring. Look at this. I mean, look, I mean, I talked already a lot about the USD CHF in my previous videos. You probably already are tired of it, so I will not mention this anymore. Well, the same scenario. Basically, look, I mean, we have a pole here, kind of a downwards pole. We have our wedge, or maybe it's actually a fall. It's a pennant, a bearish pennant. Either way, if you're looking for some sort of a breakout or or some sort of a direction, you need to wait for a breakout. So if you're looking for some upside, a break of this upper side of this falling wedge is required. But maybe it's not a falling wedge, maybe it's just a pennant, a bearish pennant, and that in that case you would need to see a break through the lower side of it. So pretty straightforward, just kind of, yeah, waiting for it to happen. GBP USD, still monitoring this one. Look, again, I will repeat myself. I mean, I'm watching this as a possible kind of rising wedge pattern. But again, if we do violate the upper side of it, great, we'll go higher. We'll ignore the whole rising wedge. But at the moment, there is still hope. There is still a chance for it. As I said before, that of course these patterns tend to break to the downside, but a confirmation break is still required. Until then, it could continue trading within the pattern here, and yeah, it could be still moving higher. So at the moment, I would say wait for it, but I would say keep your eyes on this 1.2345 level, an interesting one. That's the current highest point of December. If we do break through it, then yes, I will go a little bit towards the upside, towards the upper side of the potential rising channel, or rising wedge. But if we struggle to overcome this barrier, then the next option here is to consider maybe a bit of a retracement back to this 200-day EMA. GBP NZD, just a quick update. Boom, beautiful rebound yesterday. Look, I talked about this. I said that, hey, if you're looking for some lower levels, wait for that good drop below this area, below this 1.1997, 1.1997, yep. But because a break below that level would confirm a forthcoming lower low, but it didn't happen. Look, instead we pushed higher, but even with the upside, it's also a problematic one because we are struggling with this downside line, and even if we break the downside line, we have these EMAs here on our way. So if you're really very cautious, then of course you would probably wait for a push above all of the EMAs and then aim higher. But if you're a little bit adventurous, yes, you could keep an eye on this downside line, but then consider the fact that the pair could get a hold of somewhere near these EMAs. GBP CAD, just very quickly on this one, I talked about this. Look, I talked about this 1.6717. This area somehow is providing that good. Well, I wanted to say resistance, but we're currently above it a little bit. However, in that case, we can see maybe this as a good little magnet. Nevertheless, I am a little bit more positive than negative, to be honest, because look, I mean, if we continue to trade above this 1.6717, I will aim for that 1.69. 21 or 50, approximately around here. If we do fall back below this 1.6717, I will consider a retracement here towards this upside support line. A similar story with EURUSD, but this one's a little bit more interesting. Why? Because, hey, look, I talked about this 1.4373 level yesterday and last week, and look at this. We had a fantastic move above it, above that hurdle, above that barrier, and what happened at the end of the day? We drifted back down, and we drifted back down, and we stayed below it. And well, if that isn't kind of signaling for a possible reversal, I don't know what. However, my issue here is that, look, everybody sees that, and then the market sees that, and other participants see that. So there could be another little push here to the upside, where they could start taking out some traders, and then it could reverse, with a sharp decline to the downside. So I'm not excluding that because, again, I've seen this happening before. Me personally, I like this one to the downside a little bit towards this upside line taken from the low of the 4th of November. However, the scenario that I just explained could be possible. Again, we could see, like a spike higher and then, a sharp drift to the downside. So that could be my. However, if we continue somehow to trade above the 1.4373 or even kind of maybe better for the bulls, of course, if we push above the 1.4462 and stay above it, well, I mean, I'll continue aiming for the upside. Euro and ZD. This one's interesting. Look at this. I mean, after rebounding from this 1.6415 territory, we're kind of stuck here. We're still within the falling channel. Yeah. Okay, we're still within the falling channel, and there is still, potential for this one to move lower. However, as I said before yesterday, that I would like to see a drop below this area here in order to go to the downside. So if we do fall below this hurdle, then yes, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could start aiming for the lower side of this pattern, of this falling channel. For the upside, I need to see a push above the 1.6655, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. And finally, EURUSD. This one, yeah, it's trying to climb higher. Look, we're still within the rising channel. We still have this 1.0595 barrier. So, yeah, if you're looking for some upside, a push above this barrier is needed. And maybe then we could break through the upper side of the rising channel and ignore this whole rising channel. But at the moment, we cannot ignore it, and we're still within it. So, look, if you're looking for some downside, then probably a drop below the 1.05 territory here is required, and then we could consider a move towards the lower side of the rising channel here towards this 200-day EMA. So keep that in mind. So guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your views, your likes, your comments, everything, guys. So I hope you found this useful, and if you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a beautiful trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.